Thank you very much for tuning in for yet another episode of 3 in 1, a magazine show where we showcase the beauty, performance, and purpose of our lovely cars. Today we are broadcasting here in Mogoditsane. The place is Kobe Trading. Kobe is the home of a variety of cars depending on your need. My name is Benson Peter. But joining me today, I've got our resident car analyst. They say when it comes to the knowledge of cars, he's got a big brain in a small head. Ladies and gentlemen, Alpha, welcome to 3 in 1.
Thank you, Benson. Thank you very much.
Let us just kickstart our program. Behind you, we've got a Golf R, a beautiful car.
High performance car.
Behind me, we've got its brother, its lovely sibling, GTI, still it's a Golf.
Gran Turismo injection.
Now, let us talk about these cars. What is a Golf R? What is a GTI?
Well, let me start by first mentioning that motorsport is my first love and cars are my passion. When you talk of the Golf is a very beautiful car. It was first produced in the town of Wolfsburg in Germany 40 years back. And from then to now, there was first the Golf 1, which was popularly known as the City Golf. Then in came the 1980, around 88 Golf. The biggest engine in that car was the 16-valve 2-liter GTI. Then the Golf 2, yes. Now the Golf 3 came in 5 years later. That came with the VR6.
The VR6.
The VR6.
Yes.
That was the third generation.
Yes, and it was touted as very fast.
It was using the 2.8-liter V6 engine. Okay. That was not so mechanically precise back then. In fact, most of the cars were not mechanically precise. Then after the Golf 3, we had the VR6. In came the Golf 5. The Golf 5 had its own Golf R, which had the 2-liter power plant producing 188 kilowatts. That was the very same engine that did duty in the ODS 3. Okay. Then again, 5 years later, in came the Golf 7, the very same cars that we are talking about today. And
then when they talk about the Golf 7, there's another appellation they put to it, another honorific or label, MK7. Tell us about the MK7 sort of label.
You know, the MK is the mark. That is the generation. Okay. It's more like seeing 1.2, 1.4, 1.5 when you talk about how the law is written. So the Golf 1 was the Mach 1, the Golf 2 was the Mach 2, the Golf 3 was the Mach 3, yes. The 4 was the Mach 4, 5, Mach 5, then 7, the Mach 7. Tell us about the performance of the GTI.
But before we go to the performance, let us look at its beauty. It's a hatchback.
Yes.
What engine capacity is here? What can this car do, briefly?
To start with, the GTI stands for Gran Turismo injection. Okay. The engine under the bonnet is a 2-liter TSI engine. Okay. It can produce around 162 kilowatts. And from 0 to 100, it does away with that in around 5 seconds, 5.4 seconds. Okay. Yes. Okay. With top speed of around 232 kilometers per hour.
Okay. Now, still that is on the Golf 7.
That is on the Golf 7.
To the Golf 7.
Yes, the very same that is on my right.
Let's talk about, you're talking about Gran Turismo.
Yes.
I believe that Gran Turismo is the name of a person. But obviously they had to talk about how they have injected the technology there. Now let's talk about the performance. People talk about GTI because they know it's a turbo car. There are turbos there, or there's a turbo there, so it's a performance car.
Yes, sir.
What is it that they like about this turbo thing? What is it that the turbo does when it is inside of a car like GTI?
The turbocharge plays a very, very big role in the performance of the car wholesale. Because one, it helps with the cooling system of the engine when the car is on the move, thus enabling the car not to overheat.
Okay.
Secondly, the gearbox, the transmission, it uses the 6-speed DSG transmission.
Okay.
The DSG simply stands for direct shift gearbox.
Yeah.
What it basically is happening here is there are like 2 clutches and 2 gearboxes
like
all in one.
Here.
Yes.
And the way they would shift.
The way they shift.
Okay.
Now the mechanical setup of it is like only one of each is connected direct to the engine.
Okay.
Now there's what you call the passive engagement.
Yes.
With the passive engagement is when the car is moving like now, when it's in first gear, the second gearbox is on the second gear. When you change to the second gear, it automatically moves to the third gear.
Okay.
And when you get to the highest engine, rather the gear, it now converts to what you know as the overdrive.
Okay.
And another benefit of it, the DSG drive,
yes.
It shifts everything very quick, so much that you won't even notice that there was a change in gears.
So it shifts
swiftly. And on top of that, it can automatically predetermine how you want to drive it. Okay. And it will like pre-select gears.
Okay.
When driven hard, it will move like from first gear, third gear, fifth gear, so not 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 5.
Alpha, let us simplify it for our viewers at home. And for the viewer at home, wherever you are, just know that what you're watching is a brand new program, the first of its kind in this our beautiful country, Botswana. It is called 3 in 1. Here we are using poetry to talk about the beauty, the performance, and the purpose of that automobile that you are purchasing. That is why you also see our beautiful ladies next to us buy these cars. We're using poetry to say the beauty of our country, the beauty of the cars, and the beauty of your choice. Alpha, we were talking here about the performance of the car, that even the gearbox itself, it shifts swiftly.
Yes.
Is it a car that talks to you? Because you're talking about depending on how you want to drive it, it will respond to you. Try to speak to that.
Yeah, it does in many ways, because in the first place, the reason why it's this fast is because of the body construction. Okay. A lot of aluminium was used in the body construction. Okay. For one reason. Aluminium, because by nature is very light, it gives heavyweight performance. Okay. That's what separates the GTI from other brands. Okay. Again, the devices, as in how it responds on the way, it communicates with you, because as soon as you get to lose concentration, okay, there are mechanical inclinations that help you to get back to the road.
Okay, it is a car that talks to you. Before we close on this one, let us talk about the power. The specs on it. Let's talk to the issue of the horsepower on the car. Let's talk to the issue of the kilowatt output, and what does it say, this Golf 7, in terms of that?
At this point, anything that is above 150 kilowatts is very fast. Okay. Then when you talk about something that ranges between 162 kilos and 169, yeah, you are talking something that needs to be handled with care. Okay. This car derives 162 kilowatts from the 2-liter TSI engine. Okay. And it's a front-wheel drive car. It drives with the front wheels. Okay. And it's very, very fast. Okay.
We'll get to that when we talk about the Golf R now. Thank you so much for your input for now. We're coming back. Wherever you are, you're watching 3 in 1. Let's go for a short break. We'll be back with your lovely magazine show. Once again, welcome to 3-in-1. This is your favorite, your lovely, your awesome car show. We are talking about beauty, performance and purpose of that particular car. But today, we are at Kobe Trading. And I'm here with Alpha, the man with a big brain and a small head when it comes to the issue of cars. He's our resident analyst. Alpha, we talked about the GTI. We'll go back to the GTI in terms of its exterior and its aesthetics. But for now, let's get to the uncle, the bigger brother to the GTI, the Golf R. They call it Golf R. Why Golf R? Why R?
Thank you once again, Benson. The car on my left is the Golf R.
Yeah.
There's a 2014 model.
Okay.
Power output is 206 kilowatts.
Okay.
And it uses the same engine as the GTI, that is the 2-liter TSI engine.
Okay.
The only difference is this is a very high performance car, not just a performance car, very, very high performance car.
When I went about it in terms of trying to understand it, I have a friend who drives this car. It's a beautiful car. But it talks about direct injection on the engine. It talks about intelligent turbocharging. What is the difference? Because the GTI has got a turbocharger as well. When you talk about this one in terms of high performance, more power, why has it got more power? What is it that gives it that power?
The mechanical setup wholesale is very, very different. To start with, it's a four-wheel drive car, okay. What we call the full motion. Okay. It uses the same DSG engine, 6-speed, then the same 2-liter TSI engine. Okay. The Golf R, the R basically or simply is just a letter that communicates clearly to the man on the street that to the consumer that you have now moved from an ordinary league to a league of champions.
Okay, let us talk about, before we get to the engine again, let's talk about the 4Motion, 4x4, right? Some people will understand when you say 4x4, that it is pulling with all the wheels, the rear pulling and the front pulling. How does that enhance performance in terms of traction?
You have the best grip when pulling off the road. And it's not like when you say it's four-wheel drive, always all the wheels are engaged. Okay. They get engaged fully once the car senses that it needs to add more punch. Okay. It's always engaged, but it's 60-40 rear biased. Okay. 60% torque at the rear and 40% at the front. Okay. Now, like I've said earlier on, that is a very high performance car. It has like 4 driving modes. Okay. There's the normal, the snow, the sport, and the track mode. Okay. You change driving modes as and when you need them, as and when you are, as and when how your mood is. Okay. Again, like I've said, the engine is the same engine as this one, but the only difference here is the power output. This one has 206 kilowatts, and this one has 162 kilowatts. Yes.
But you said anything above 150, when it's an automobile, you must know that you are now driving at supersonic speed.
Yes. That is a very true thing. Yes. But you know, when driving this car, if I had my way, yes, I couldn't be selling it to anybody, because once you start giving it to everybody, yes, you are like putting us closer to heaven, the cutting edge.
We are knocking on heaven.
Yeah, we are.
These are the kind of cars that when you own them, perhaps it is high time, maybe in our country, or somebody can come up with an idea of defensive driving so that they can know how to handle the power in the car. Because as you put it, it is very powerful.
Very powerful, and you are 100% correct, because everything about this car, you need to have discipline. Okay. You need to be sober. Okay. You need to have like the right hands. Okay. You need to focus. Okay. And you need to know how to operate this car. Okay. It's not just a car. Okay. It's a Golf R.
Because it's a Golf R. It's not just the car. The way you put it is a very fast car. Now let us talk about the sound that these cars make. We're still gonna try to start the cars towards the end of the show and get inside of these cars. But sometimes they say Vorpa. It's like it's making this sound that is unique. Why that particular sound?
That interesting sound comes from how the gearbox operates. Okay. Because if you take, say, for example, the R32, yes, the operating system was the same.
The R32 is in the Golf 6 and the Golf 5.
Yes. Okay. But the difference here is because this one has a larger table, which the R32 doesn't have. Okay. The R32 is not naturally aspirated, which means it breathes in the air that we do breathe.
It does not have the turbo.
It doesn't have the turbo, and as such, it doesn't have that original vol pass out.
And the R32, I thought it also would emanate from the fact that it's a 3.2 liter engine.
Yeah, it's a 3.2 liter engine.
Okay.
This car drives better than the RS2 because it's light.
Okay.
A lot of aluminum was used in this car.
Okay, okay. Aluminium was used on this car.
A lot of aluminum.
Let us talk about the top end of the car. We see what is written there on the
Speedo is 320.
It is 320.
Yes.
So sometimes with our understanding is that what you see is what you get. If a car is written 180 as a top end on the Speedo, then that's how far it can go. If I buy a car as a consumer that doesn't know anything about cars and I see 320. 320. My understanding is that I'm buying this car and therefore I must get value for money. I must be able to go to 320 if I'm trying to knock on heaven's door. What is the top end on the car?
This car is electronically regulated to 250 kilometers per hour.
Okay.
There are two things here. There's the speedo reading and the engine speed.
Okay.
So the speedo reading, you won't have a problem to going up to 320. So, but the true engine speed, 250 kilometers per hour.
So are you saying it is regulated?
It is regulated, yes.
To go up to, or governed, to go up to 250.
250.
As a top speed,
yes.
As a true speed.
Yes, sir.
But then you are saying there's a speedo speed. The reading on the Speedo, that can go up to 300.
Up to 300,
Is that
yes,
an illusion?
That is a true fact.
No, I'm trying to ask you something. You say the engine speed is governed to 250.
250.
And then there's the Speedo reading that can go up to 300. So if that needle goes up to, it points up to 280 to 300, is that a true reflection of what car is doing on the engine? As it races, or it is just an illusion?
To some extent, is a true fact, because it's a sports car.
Thank you so much. We'll get back to that one. If you are watching our show, this is 3-in-1. Need I remind you that we are talking about 3-in-1. 3-in-1, if I was to unpack it for you, it is speaking to beauty, to performance and purpose. The beauty of the car in terms of the aesthetics. The car you drive, sometimes they say it's like the suit you wear, and you want to feel good when you drive the car. You would want to understand that the performance of this car will help me get to where I want to go. Thirdly, in terms of purpose, what is the purpose of the car? Am I getting an SUV in order to use it as a sports utility vehicle, or I'm just getting an SUV to get to work with it? So purpose is very important. So 3-in-1, ladies and gentlemen, that is why you even see the beauty of our ladies trying to say life is poetry. The allegory of beauty extends to the user of the car. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a short break. We'll be back with our 3-in-1. This is your favorite motoring show, where we showcase beauty, performance, and purpose of the car. We are showcasing beauty also of our beautiful models here. Alpha, we were talking about the performance of these cars. We were yet to look at the aerodynamics, the shape of this car, the safety of this car. But before we get to that, let me ask our beautiful model here, Flora, please do the honors and start the GTI for us. We need to hear what the car can say. Obviously, cars are different. You've got a car that is very loud. You've got a car that is very subtle, but different performances. So it depends on the person's actually favor, what they really want.
Yes, we certainly have to start the engines because, like they say, the taste of the pudding is in the eating.
Exactly. There goes That's a subtle sound.
A subtle sound.
A
Yes.
subtle sound. Little not knowing that when it's already in motion, there's that sort of feedback that it gives you when you rev it and when you accelerate, especially when you talk about the VRPA aspect of it.
That extra something.
Yes. Please rev it for us. Okay. That is the sort of car that gives you that VRPA. You can even hear a bit of VRPA at the back. Thank you so much, Flora, for starting the car. You may switch it off. There it goes. That's the GTI. That is the sound of the GTI. But obviously, the car is not in motion. The car is very much stationary. Should this car move, I dare you, you're going to enjoy it. Everybody knows they call it a VRPA. Now, let us move to its bigger brother. Let us go to the beast itself, the Golf R. Our beautiful model again. Sasha, do the honors and start the Golf R for us. Move a bit. Now there it goes. You can actually even get it now that this engine is a bit louder. Please rev it a bit for us. Yes, again. Go again. Go again. Now, Alfie, thank you so much, Sasha. You may switch it off and close the door.
It speaks for itself.
It speaks for itself.
Yes.
Now you can tell the way it sounds that it's quite a different car when it comes to the GTI comparison, that this one is more powerful.
First of all, the soundtrack coming from the back. This one uses the 2 exhaust pipes, while this one uses 4. And that on its own tells you that the compression ratio is not the same.
All these are hatchbacks. Now, tell us about the aerodynamics of the car. Why the shape? How does it contribute to the penetration of the air and as the cars are moving?
The shape is more, I can see 100% the same. Now the difference is because this one is not this one. This one comes standard with the R Sport suspension. It aids in the handling department of the car, whilst
in the stability.
Exactly. This one is a bit closer to the ground than the GTI. When you carefully look at both cars from the front, this one has doesn't have the fog lamps, whilst this one has. For a simple reason that where the fog lamps are positioned into the GTI, here there are some air curtains. That air curtains helps in with more air coming into the
inhalation of the air, so that it can cool the braking system, can cool all the components that are within the
turbocharger,
yes.
And the whole cooling department.
Thank you so much.
And on top of that, like I've mentioned, that this one is closer to the ground. The R Sport suspension. The R Sport suspension kind of sets it apart from the rest of the Golfs you have seen before.
It actually sits on the road and you get to enjoy it. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, what you're watching is 3-in-1. This is a lovely magazine motoring show brought to you here in Kobe Trading. Let us now go into the interior of the car. Let us look at the dash. Let us look at the speedo. Let us look at the design of the seats and all that, and see what Golf GTI and the Golf R, its bigger brother, have in store for us as the consumers. Alpha, we've seen the brilliance of German engineering when it comes to these 2 cars, these 2 lovely sports cars. Please give us your final word.
Well, my final video is before deciding to buy, you must first know what you want. And it's not always about the pricing, but the packaging. And secondly, I can advise people to not buy with their hearts, but with their heads. The difference is, yes, people who buy with their hearts, they care less about the brand.
Okay.
They go for what they think is best for them.
Okay.
But for people who buy with their heads, they take time to buy, no matter how pregnant the wallet could be. They take time to buy, they take brochures, they do comparisons, they look at what they want, they look at what they need, and they look at even their social lives,
okay,
where they stay. I mean, at times it doesn't make sense to buy a sports car when you stay to...
you're staying in the farm.
When you're staying in the farm.
Alpha, thank you so much for your insights. Thank you. To our lovely viewers out there, this was a 3-in-1. We had the GTI, we had the Golf R. The choice is yours. They say you listen to wisdom and apply your mind to understanding. This is it, 3-in-1. Until we meet again in our next episode, keep watching.